The next participant, Mr. Lyndon Fernandes from medicine background, for the title, for presenting the title Medical Writing My Story.
All right, then. Good day to everyone out here. First of all, I would like to thank the entire TWCS team to give me the opportunity to present. This presentation is based on medical writing, which is a rewarding career for life sciences graduates. It's my personal experience as a medical writer for over the past 5 years, which I would like to showcase, to the whole world. So basically, the entire presentation is not research oriented, but per se, it is more related to a career enhancement and a view on what medical writing is for life sciences graduates and people from the medical background. Now, going ahead with the introduction part, what is basically medical writing? Medical writing is a critical part of scientific communication. It deals with a lot of literature research, literature review, data analysis, putting everything into a nutshell. In science, it is the words that matters the most. So everyone knows that good research and good science can only be communicated if we write well and if we present well. That's the whole essence of medical writing. Careless writing is often a barrier to publication and dissemination of useful science. We most often observe that many researchers and scientists have good data, good research with them, but they cannot, publish their data, or they cannot move ahead only because of their poor writing and presentation skill. Again, this is where medical writing comes into place. Writing complex medical information is in simple language is often challenging. The use of technical terms, jargons, and acronyms are often used repeatedly but cannot be avoided exclusively. Going to the next slide, academic institutions, medical educators, and healthcare researchers play a very important role in writing communication. Now, in the era where clinicians and allied healthcare professionals do not have the time to write or are unable to present useful findings and results, medical writers play a key role in bridging this gap. So a medical writer definitely has a critical role, in different industries when it comes to disseminating or presenting useful information, specifically when it comes to publishing or presenting, research. Coming to the next slide. Who can take up medical writing? Now, most often people assume that medical writing is only meant for clinicians or doctors per se. But I would like to inform all the participants that any biomedical or life science graduate who has a good command over English and a flair for writing can definitely opt for this rewarding career. A postgraduate or a doctorate would have an advantage or to seeking the same role. So for example, a bachelor's in life sciences or a master's in life sciences or a master's in microbiology could opt for medical writing, keeping in mind that if he or she has a flair for writing and has an understanding of medicine. In addition to excellent verbal and English skills, it is also important for writers to have basic computer skills. We need to know how to develop presentations. That's Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft Word. These are the basic requirements that one should know as a medical writer. Medical writers also need to deal with a lot of stress and stringent deadlines because most often, as per my experience, medical writers are given a lot of work in terms and they have stringent deadlines, to cover up as such. Now, interesting question that most of my colleagues or most of my friends or most of my researchers ask: where do we medical writers actually work? So, medical writers basically work at different companies. They could be working at pharmaceutical companies, they could be working at publications house. So what is the actual role of medical writers? They could be involved in writing and editing technical or regulatory documents for drugs or new drugs or drugs that are already in the market, or even medical devices. It could be brochures, it could be presentations, it could be, different key outcomes, outputs. For example, we could be developing a brochure, we could be developing a patient pamphlet, etc. Publication writing has emerged as an emerging field. It involves writers who write on behalf of authors, where they could, publish their research in reputed journals or magazines or even newspapers. Writers often develop manuscripts, case reports, clinical studies for academic journals on or on behalf of authors. Now this is an interesting slide. I've made developed this figure of where, who are the potential employers of medical writers. So as we see, pharmaceutical companies do, employ medical writers. Then there are clinical research organizations. There are publication houses, for example, Springer Nature, NEJM. They are all top, one of the more world's reputed publication houses which employ medical writers. Then there are healthcare communication agencies. For example, there are many medcom agencies who would like to develop, key content on behalf of pharmaceutical companies. So, even healthcare communication agencies is a good way, to get enrolled as a medical writer. Then there are hospitals too who hire medical writers, which is again a very interesting yet lucrative career option, for experienced medical writers. And lastly, there are academic institutions. For example, there are universities who hire medical writers in order, to get their research work published in reputed peer-reviewed index journals. So this is a nutshell of the potential employers of medical writers. So if you ask me where I have worked at, I have worked at a pharmaceutical company, I have worked at a CRO, I have worked at a healthcare communication agency, and right now I'm working at a hospital, at a tertiary care cancer center hospital based in Mumbai, India. Coming to the next slide. So how does a professional writer actually help? Why do, these employers basically hire medical writers? So basically, professional writers, he or she should understand the concept and develop a comprehensible, concise, coherent, and clear content. The professional medical writer adds flow, logic, and improves the style of writing for making it high-end research. A professional medical writer also fills gap in flow and clarity. We all need to understand that we all may necessarily have good research, we might have good data, we might have good outcomes, but the point out here is, now and again I keep repeating, we need to present it in a very simple yet concise way, and that is where medical writers come to place. We as medical writers help in, presenting, making it presentable. We help in getting you established in a reputed journal. Also, medical writers are quite proficient in putting medical jargon. We have a lot of complex words that are used in the medical field. So medical writer will simplify that and ensure that, everything is reader friendly. Professional medical writers are also aware of different style formats and guidelines applicable to the publication industry. So this is how professional medical writers help. Now, apart from just writing and editing papers, medical writers also need to understand the basics of statistics. Yes, statistics and medical writing go hand in hand. This is one of the most important part when it comes to research. So statistics is an integral part of clinical research and medical literature. Medical writers are expected to know basics of statistics. Some of the things that medical writers or that I have experienced with, we need to know confidence intervals, randomization schemes, regression analysis, t-test, and p-values. These are some of the basics of research, and yes, we definitely need to understand statistics out here. In the past few years, the concept of lean and mean medical writing has also evolved. It has been globally accepted by academics, pharmaceutical companies, and scientific communities. The concept of lean and mean is based on the principles of presenting enormous data in a limited volume with the focus on robust data analysis. Now, let me explain to you in a nutshell. So, for example, a researcher comes to me or a scientist from a lab comes to me. He has humongous data. He has good data, but he does not have the time to present it, or he does not have the skill set to compile it and to make it in a presentable manner. This is where medical writers or me help different researchers, compile all of that and make it, quite clear as such. So this is all related to the statistics part of it. Now, coming to the most interesting part, which not many people want to disclose, that's the compensation of medical writers. Now, I could only give you an idea of the compensation based in India because I have been working in India. I really cannot give out details of compensation for medical writers elsewhere, maybe in the US or UK. I have limited knowledge about that. But as per my knowledge and what the industry offers is, a beginner medical writer could have a salary range of 1.8 lakhs to 4.5 lakhs per annum. A mid-level writer, say for example, a writer with 2 to 3 years experience could have a salary range of 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs per annum. Well, senior medical writers, yes, that's where they start earning more. They could have anywhere between 6 lakhs to 10 lakhs Indian national rupees per annum. I have also seen highly skilled, highly reputable medical writers who have earned their name in the industry, earning anywhere between 12 to 15 lakhs per annum. That's per year. So yes, and the pharmaceutical and the publication industry are the major employees for professional medical writers. So this is regarding, the compensation part of it, of how medical writers are paid in the industry. This is only, once again, only the Indian context of it. So I've just made a graphical representation of the compensation of medical writers. So as we see, a beginner definitely earns low, and as you gain experience and have cross-platform experience in medical writing, your pay definitely increases. Um, Now coming part to the Medical Writers Association. So I'm not quite sure of how many of you are aware of what medical writing is, and that how many professional associations are available in the world. So there are top two medical writing associations. That's the American Medical Writers Association, which was founded in 1940, and it has members across the US, Canada, and 30 other countries. So basically, the AMWA, that's the American Medical Writers Association, is one of the oldest and one of the largest, organization for medical writers. Then there is the European Medical Writers Association, and it spans across 39 different countries and has approximately 1,000 members. The EMWA was founded in 1989 and includes members from across 12 countries, that is outside of the Euro. Now, why have I mentioned about the medical writing associations out here? These organizations or professional bodies help medical writers connect with similar professionals. It could generate, freelancing opportunities. It could help different writers apply for different jobs outside of their own country as such. So trust me, the AMWA and the EMWA are the most, professional and an ideal way, if you could start your career in medical writing as such. I got a freelance opportunity through a member in the EMWA. While I got in touch with a few senior medical writers from reputed pharmaceutical companies from the American Medical Writers Association. So basically, this is a nice platform for someone who is already experienced, who is looking forward to start a career in medical writing. So that's a nutshell of medical writing as such, what it is, where do we work, what's the compensation, and the different organizations or professional bodies that work on. So I would like to conclude by saying that medical writing is an alternative and rewarding career for those who are looking out for something outside of the lab, or someone who wants to take a break and look out for something definitely rewarding, because it's 90% of the work is a desk job. So it's ideal for those who do not like to travel quite a lot. So medical writing is definitely a step ahead for them. Medical writing has immense potential in India, wherein medical writers could be either employed in an organization or you could basically freelance as such. However, I would recommend freshers or colleagues who are interested in medical writing at the start, they should definitely get employed full time to understand the basics of how the industry works, and only then opt for, as a freelancer. Now, medical writing is a combination of art and science. You might, no offense out here, but not all clinicians are good writers, or not all doctors are good writers. Because doctors, I assume, the skill set is to cater to patients, is to have a strong clinical background as such. So I want to focus that medical writing can be taken by science graduates, or by people who have basic knowledge in anatomy and pharmacology. It's definitely a one stop or a one way go for a lucrative career as such. In the past years, what I've observed is the demand for medical writing has definitely increased tremendously. To conclude, what I could say is medical writing is definitely a rewarding career, and it's ideal once again for researchers who are quite exhausted with their lab oriented work. You could have a transition out here. This could definitely be a deal breaker, or a career path breaker for you researchers as such. So yeah, that's all for now from my end. I have a few references out here. These are some of the references that I looked upon, where medical writers shared their own experience in context to medical writing. So if you see, the first reference is a call for clarity and quality in medical writing. This was published in the Canadian Medical Journal. Then there are many other papers that were published in reputable indexed journals. So there's a lot of demand, and there's a lot of potential for medical writing in India, and also in the US and the UK as well. So I would like to conclude out here. Thank you so much for your time and effort out here.
Dear participants, please vote for the Mr. Lyndon Fernandes presented for the paper medical writing. So please vote. The polling session will be in 1 minute. So that was an end of the poll here. So thank you, participants. Your poll is closed.